When I got into the business and I loved drumming and I loved being a musician, I knew I was going to be a professional musician. I was just sort of following the love.
Well, welcome back to the Extraordinary Drummer Show. As you know, I'm your host, Cheron Moore. Would you help me welcome to the Extraordinary Drummer Show today, my guest, Omar Hakim. Hey, Omar.
Hello, Cheron.
Let me start with your credits. I want to go right into those credits. One of my favorite projects. Did you do that Joe sample, Ashes to Ashes?
Yes, I did.
Oh, come on, Omar. Oh, that's the whole interview, okay? That's one of my favorite albums, and man, you are so clean and you laid that down. Tell me about working with Joe Sample on that Ashes to Ashes album.
Well, my dear buddy Marcus Miller produced that record, and Marcus and I were working a lot together in those years. This was back in the days of the night music TV show with David Sanborn, and when we had off time, we would be doing a lot of studio sessions, and man. We did that session at the Power Station in New York City, Studio A. Tommy LaPuma was the producer, was also like the executive producer. And for those who don't know Tommy LaPuma, talk about a body of work, he was really incredible and a great guy to work for. And Joe Sample, I mean, what can you say? I was already a Crusaders fan as a kid. So to grow up and end up working with Joe Sample was pretty mind-blowing for me, because I loved the Crusaders as a kid. And Joe is just so funky. He was so, his groove, the melodic thing, the way he would solo, the way he would comp. It was just so much fun to be in the studio with him. And there's this one track that stands out for me. 7 Years of Good Luck, I think, is the name of the track. It just came together in the studio, man. I've done a lot of sessions, and you can, when the track is going and you're jamming, you can feel when you've got one, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's like the magic. It enters the room and it takes over. And everybody's in that flow, and that I remember that track being that feeling in the studio.
Omar, you're from New York, Queens?
Yeah, Jamaica, Queens, New York.
A lot of cats was out that way. Lenny was out that way, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. Lenny White, again, Marcus Miller, Don Blackman. Bernard Wright, Tom Brown, trumpet player, funkin' for Jamaica, New York. So it's beautiful to see those things and see how it affects the American music landscape.
Omar, let me take you back and do a little bit of history. You started playing drums at age 5?
Yeah, I did.
When did you get your first drum kit?
Well, when I started playing at 5. It started with like a little, like a toy drum gift kind of thing, and my family saw that I was naturally into it, and then they got me a Ludwig snare drum, and I still got that drum actually. It's a black Ludwig 5x14 snare drum. In fact, Lenny White tried to buy that snare drum from me many years ago. We were playing a gig somewhere in Queens, and he heard the drum. He said, "You want to sell that drum?" I was like, "Man, I ain't selling my drum."
Yeah.
But it was a good, very nice drum, though.
Yeah. Try to buy the drum. Let me show you a picture before I do that. What's this picture mean to you?
Oh shoot!
Cat.
Where you get that picture from? Okay, That is a photograph from my very, very first gig. I was when I hit 10 years old, my dad was like, "You're in the band now." So, rehearsals after school. And yeah, man, the gig was at IS 8, junior high school, intermediate school 8 on Merrick Boulevard in Jamaica, Queens.
For the sake of time, I'm going to have to jump forward a little bit and not get a lot of these in. Take me to meeting Patti LaBelle. Was that one?
Wow, man. Eddie Martinez and I were hanging out in New York City, and we grabbed the Village Voice. And we looked in the back, and they had musicians classifieds at the back of the Village Voice, right? And you could, people would be advertising. They need a sax player, they need a drummer, they need So we get it. We eating pizza and looking at the Voice, and we see an ad that catches our eye. And this one was in bold. It said, drummer and guitarist needed for recording and touring act. That's a juicy one. Right? So we called the number, put a dime in the phone booth because there was no cell phones, right? Put a dime in the phone booth, and the person picks up on the other end and says, "Can you guys be at Carol Music Studio in a half hour?" Yeah, sure, we could. So we hang up the phone, jump on the A train, go down to 40, because Carol Music was at like 42nd or 43rd Street on 8th Avenue, right next to the bus station there, right? So we get there, go upstairs, and where's the auditions? In that studio down there. So we go down the hall, we go in the room, and the moment I get in the room, I see Nona Hendrix and Sarah Dash, 2/3 of LaBelle. And I said to Eddie, "I think this is LaBelle. That's the recording and touring act. It's LaBelle." And so he starts, he pulls out his guitar, plugs in. I'm messing with the drums, getting comfortable. And then Patti LaBelle walks in. And I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. And I was 16. And they said, "Do you know our songs?" I knew everything because I was always listening to the radio, right? So when they counted off Lady Marmalade, I was up in that groove. I knew that record, no problem, right? They loved Eddie and I so much, they hired us on the spot. Patti hired us on the spot. And she used to tell the story. I hired him when he was 16 years old. She used to tell people that, and I was like, she's right. She took me under. But there was a little bit of a caveat, because when she found out I was 16, she was like, "Boy, I can't take you out of school." I was like, "Yes, you can. You're Patti LaBelle. You can do whatever you want." But I didn't say that, but I thought that, right? But what she said was, actually, this is going to work out for us because our drummer, our tour guide extended, our drummer can't do the weekends, but he could do the weekday gigs. So why don't we let him do the, like the Monday, any gigs we have Mondays through Thursday, and then you do the weekends. And that way you don't have to get taken out of school. She was so thoughtful. And so that's what happened. Their drummer kept doing the gigs during the week. I had to learn the show. Eddie played, he joined the band. He ended up in the band, right? But I had a lot of fun. It was an incredible experience. And I want to say, the Jay Mason tour as a first tour was pretty amazing. But the LaBelle thing was the first time I was like in a real theatrical rock show, because the girls were flying around the stage, and I'm like, whoa, this is amazing. It was really incredible experience for a 16-year-old.
Omar, what do you think of the drummers that are playing these days? They're playing more notes, tighter, faster. They're blazing all over the kit. It's kind of like, I said to one guy, it's kind of like putting a solo in the middle of a ballad somewhere. What do you think think of this stuff these
Well,
guys are doing?
well, first of all, drums are fun, right? And a lot of these kids, um, they're really having a lot of fun um, with the instrument, which when you're not coming at it from a professional place, it almost becomes a sportsmanship thing. In fact, the sportsmanship culture in drumming on one level or another has always been there, like it or not. It's always been there. There's always been the drum battle between, you know, Max Roach and Buddy Rich or whoever and whoever. You know, this has been going on. And I think it's mainly because the drums are so physical and you can see the physicality of a drum set on stage more than the physicality of playing guitar or piano. You know, the drum, it's very, you know, the movement is big with the drummers, right? So the drummers, you know, create this visual excitement that you don't get from a keyboard player, you know, or you don't get unless the horn players are twirling their horns or dancing, or unless you're Michael Jackson and you command the audience, you know, with the way you dance and sing. Or but then if outside of the lead singer, the drummer always gets that attention as well because of the nature of the physicality of the instrument, you know. Besides, of course, like I said, the front men who also have that charisma. So I think what ends up happening with the instrument is that there's that sort of sports part of it that's a lot of fun for kids. And I don't want to put them down because I think that they should enjoy that. But all it means is that they have to do a little bit of a different kind of preparation for becoming a professional musician. And a lot of them don't get a chance to have that experience of playing with others. You know, we're in the YouTube age and the, you know, the Instagram age. Everybody's posting, you know, 15 and 20 and 30 seconds of them doing their best stuff. You know what I mean? But it's 30 seconds, right? But you got, you know, what are you going to do on a 2-hour gig, right? You can't play that. So, you know, as you start to get experience playing with other musicians and learning a variety of songs and interacting with your other friends who also are players, then you start to learn the conversation of music. Because at the end of the day, it's just a language, right? And when we talk to each other, we don't spend most of the conversation using the biggest words that we know, do we? Right? No, a lot of times the conversation is to the point. Yo, man, what's up? Yeah, man, blah, blah, blah. We're kicking it. That's how we do with language. Well, for me, music is the same way. You know what I mean? We get together and we kick it. You know, the bass player says something. I'm like, yo, that was funky. Check this out. The guitar player jumps in. Now we got a thing. Right? So it's really the difference between learning the conversation versus having fun as you're developing your chops, because it's fun to play everything. You know, it's fun to, it's just fun. You know what I mean?
Well, we have a thing on the show we call Word of Advice. Where I asked the drummers, the guests, if they'll leave a parting word of advice for the kids coming up, as you mentioned, for even the guys at the next level that's trying to get traction in this game. Would you leave them a word of advice?
Well, you know, in these days and times, a lot of people are trying to figure out how to break into the music business, right? And if you ask 10 people how did they break in or make it, you're going to get 10 different stories, right? Everybody's path is very unique to them, right? So what I would say about it is keep the focus on your love for what you're doing. because it's that love and that passion that can deliver you to where you want to be, and you have to know that inside of yourself and feel that. And that's not that concept isn't just for musicians, as far as I'm concerned. It applies to anything that you're doing in life. You know what I mean? It takes the passion and the dedication and the focus, the one pointedness to get up in there and go for what it is that you love and that you want. You know what I mean? So I would say connect to connect to your passion, connect to your love for the thing, and follow it. And I also tell people every day you should do something towards your goal. Every day, every 24 hours that goes by, do at least one thing towards your goal. So what does that mean for a musician? It could mean as simple as learning another song. It could mean writing a song that day. It could mean reading a book about production, learning a new piece of software. Every day that goes by, put time into the goal. Practice, study. I've been in the business for 51 years, man. I'm still doing that. I am still doing that. I mean, and I'm not just saying it. I mean, like, you know, my passion, you know, I've been, like I said earlier, I love being in the studio. I have my own studio. People are always calling me to put drums on stuff, or I'm doing sessions for people. I'm also engineering sessions, and I'm learning still every day something, and it keeps my mind open and fresh. Keeps me inspired, and it keeps my love for the music. I would say that I'm enjoying music more than ever. You know.
Let's talk about endorsements.
Okay.
Who you playing, cymbals, drums, so forth.
All right. Well, my drums are Pearl drums. And wow, man, I've been with Pearl for a long time now. I want to say since 86. So 86, 96, 2006, 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20. Wow, man. So I've been with these cats for 35 years. I've been with Pearl drums. And it's been a fantastic relationship with those guys. And I absolutely love that gear. And it's been a great collaboration over the years because I've helped design gear. They've put out my signature snare drums. Just fantastic. And the company is always evolving and really making some just incredible equipment. So I've been with Pearl 35 years. I've been playing Zildjian cymbals my entire life, but I became a Zildjian artist officially in 1982. Vic Firth drumsticks. I've been playing Vic Firth drumsticks also from around that same time. Now I'm with Evans. I made the switch to Evans a few years ago, and I'm loving the Evans drumheads, man. Just up my game, and the quality of the products is just really fantastic.
This question here, I always ask the guests, the drummers, in closing, if I may. Omar, what would you like your legacy to be? How would you like it to be said or told?
Oh, wow. Oh, man. I never even thought about that. Man, that's tough. Because, you know, when I got into the business, and I love drumming and I love being a drummer, being a musician, I knew I was going to be a professional musician. but I never thought that I would have the opportunities that I had, like on the level that I've had them on. I was just sort of following the love, you know what I mean? And I was having fun, and I was just trying to be a worthy collaborator for the artists and the people that hired me. That was my goal. It wasn't to, be the greatest whatever in the world or anything like that. My idea was I wanted to be a working musician. I come from a community of working musicians that made a living and playing music. But then this other thing happened, and I went on this fantastic journey, and I'm grateful for that. So, I guess when people looked in my direction, no matter what, over the last, 50 years, they saw a guy just doing the same thing, having fun playing music, loving music, trying to do the best that I can from moment to moment, and be a worthy collaborator to the people that gave me the opportunity to make music with them. And those are the things that matter to me,
I met you once here in LA. You were coming to a cleaners on Santa Monica Boulevard.
Oh, shoot.
The little cleaners right there in the little mall. And I was working in the cleaners, and you came in, and I try not to show my excitement. I was like,
oh,
and
what?
I tell you, that conversation really set me up for LA, for the whole music scene. You just made me feel so comfortable. And you said a word in the days. You said you went to this club and they didn't know who you were, so they charged you to get in. And you said, but that night was worth the hang. And that started to set me up to know, what does that word mean and how important that word means. I never got
wow.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, that's right, man. Wow. Dude, tell me about some of these gold and platinum records on your wall back there.
Oh, man, please turn your camera around and show yours, man. I promise you, you make my wall looks like a starter kit.
Oh, come on, man. It's funny because I should have been a little more diligent on collecting a lot of those gold and platinum records.
Just for the record, Omar, do you know how many hit records or platinum or golds you've played on?
I don't know. I never thought about it really, but I know it's a lot. Because when I think about some of the artists like Daft Punk and Sting, also a lot of singles, Anita Baker, David Bowie. It's a decent list of people that have sold golds and platinum records. Miles, Weather Report. Man, sometimes I still can't believe it. I don't take it for granted, honestly. I don't take it for granted. I'm acutely aware that this is a privilege, and I'm grateful that people are still interested in what I'm doing, honestly.
Well, would you? I'll let you go here. Would you ever do a book? I see some things in my notes that you've done. Express yourself and let it flow and so forth. But would you ever do a book on your life, on your journey?
You're not the only one that's saying this to me. Several people have said it. So I think maybe I do need to start thinking seriously about that. There is a lot to talk about. There's a lot to reminisce about. So yeah, I think that perhaps I should do that, because I guess when you keep hearing the same thing over and over again, that's the universe trying to tell you something, right?
It's funny because if you don't do it, no one is going to tell that story accurate like you would.
That's true. That's true. I better do it while my brain's still working.
Omar, let me say again, thank you so much. I know we're right at the time hack there for being on the Extraordinary Drummer Show. I greatly appreciate it.
My pleasure, man.
God bless you. Thank you, my friend.
All right now.
Welcome to Zildjian Live. Ladies and gentlemen, Please welcome the one and only Omar Hakim.
never lose the dance floor.